There we go, we are live. Team UK, welcome to the Hangout. This is DS Domination Team UK. We are here to support you in your DS Domination ventures. If you're looking at making money on eBay or on Amazon, or you're in the UK, you're looking for an opportunity to make some money online, then we found that this is a brilliant business to get started in. Get started right away with us, and it's a massive upfront cost of £12. So £12 to get started, and then you've got a full-fledged business that people are making thousands of dollars in. And we can show you, or I can tell you some of the income proof a bit later on. But it's immense what people are doing with this $20 investment into a proper business that is going to teach you a skill, and it's called drop shipping. Drop shipping is taking a product from one website, advertising it on another website. When you've sold the item, you then buy it from the other website and then pass it on to a customer. That's all it is. It's dead simple. So the training that we go through in DS Domination is from a guy that's Roger Langille. He's eBay titanium power seller. He's got all the titles. He turned over, I think it was 1.8 million on eBay alone when he was in full flow with it. So he teaches his skills to all these people. He put this product together, and he's a great guy to get on with. He's he's been on our Hangout, and he's very personable. He wants DS Domination to rock for a lot of people that haven't made money online. So this is your opportunity. So if you've got if you're in this business and you're looking maybe you've got friends that need a bit more cash flow, then this is a real good opportunity for them. So feel free to share it and share the video, and I think that it goes down well with people in the UK, because it's not really hypey, it's not really it's not expensive for that, a couple of coffees and you've paid the £12. So it's a real simple opportunity to get started, and it takes you from opening up an eBay account. If you've never looked on eBay before and you don't know what's back there, it will take you through the process of setting up initially, and then walking you all the way through to making huge sales on eBay. And then if you want to go to the top of the training, that's all the Amazon stuff. So it's the Amazon tips and tricks in the Monopoly product. So there's lots to explore, lots to make money from. So while you're on here, if you look down the bottom of this page, there is a comment section. I know there's a big bit of text, and then underneath that there's a big comment section. So if you leave us a comment and just let us know that comment feed is working. We've got Rick on the lines, and he'll be checking them comments as we go along. And then we got Gavin on the lines as well. How you doing, guys? Let's have a word.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. And thanks for everyone joining us tonight. Be nice to hear your comments and stuff below.
Indeed. Hello. I just thought I would just unmute myself, say hello. Guys, thank you very much. I will do my best to answer any questions that you chuck in the comment section. And if, for whatever reason, there are some issues with the comment section, like I've just been notified that there was a couple last time for some reason, just assuming you are a friend, direct friend of at least one of us, just PM us the message in Facebook and we will share it with everyone.
But you can't distract us, because it takes a lot of looking around for all these questions coming from several sources. So if it does come through, let's test that section. Have we got comments up there? I think it takes a little bit to load. I'll just refresh it. Ah, there we go. We got Brian on there. How you doing, Brian? Good to have you with us. So I'll let that flow a minute. So what I want to do this evening is give you some of the tips that we've been seeing in the group, and we've been seeing all these questions, and maybe you're out at a day job, or maybe you just missed the group section. So we're going to look in the pro group, we're going to look at the questions in there, and hopefully address this on here, because if you're not inside the UK group already, you'll know the sort of questions people are coming up against, and you'll see the power in joining with the Team UK DS Domination group. And it's, you know, it's really helpful, isn't it, to have that resource so that you can get these things answered immediately. There's plenty of people in there, and it's a very active group. Gavin, has it helped you out in the past with answering a few questions?
Yeah, it has actually, especially having a UK group, because some things are slightly different to .com, and if you're doing stuff on .com, there's some things we need to work around and that. Yeah, I find it very helpful, and you put your question up, and within 20 minutes or so, someone's got, you know, a reply or some feedback, which is great, you know.
Yeah, and there's plenty of people in there. So the emphasis in the group is if you are in the UK, if you are selling in the UK, you need a resource that is specifically, you know, tailored for your needs, and this is the group to have it in. So if you're on the US site, the .com site, you probably don't need the UK site. You know, if you are in the UK, trading on the UK one, this is where your specific information is going to come from to get you around the little obstacles that we've got to try and get around. Right, let me just check that comments again. There we go, we got Rick in there. Okay, so if you're watching the recording as well, leave a comment, leave a question, and we do get back to you as you know, the week goes along. So we've got James just coming on. There we go. We've got people flying in from everywhere. I'm getting messages as well. Okay, so Gavin, starting at the top then, you've got a few questions that, I mean, you've been listing, you've been building things up over the last few months. What are the common questions that you've picked out of the group just now?
If your payments to the payment thing to the US for some sites, obviously, you know, there's you can get a Payoneer account and link that with your PayPal, so then that sort of solves the issue of obviously paying in the US.
So is that a credit card that you can use for making payments in the US?
Yeah, it's basically a US bank account,
right?
And
okay.
You have to phone PayPal up to actually link it with your account. So then you can transfer the money and then obviously pay for items in the US, because some sites require different payment methods, because not all sites are PayPal friendly.
Right, okay. So if you can't use PayPal, you get a Payoneer account, and the information to apply for that is in the group.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Roger does some training on that, goes over briefly of how to set everything up and get your US address. And
is that in the pro level training?
That's in the elite.
Elite
training. In the training.
So just for people that don't know, the pro training
the reason
is
why,
$20, and the elite training is $100. So once you upgrade, when you get to that level, that's where that training is. Okay, go on then.
Right, so I'm just going to cover some like pro topics here, because I understand a lot of people don't have the time to catch up on all the information that's around. So, and I'm not sure if a lot of people know that Eric, he does a call on a Tuesday night, so just a podcast sort of thing, telecast, and he brings various people on from week to week, and they talk about different subjects and different stuff. And one week they was talking about titles and about how you should think about doing the titles, and the 3 pointers that come out of that call was, if you've got a pen and paper, write this down, is what is it, how you use it, what is it for, and where do you use it. And when you're writing your titles, you should be thinking about those 3 key things when building a title, because your title is how people find your product.
Yeah, title is very important, isn't it? So that's for SEO as well.
Yeah, and it's good to change them up. If you find you're not getting so many hits or sort of views or watches, it's good to go back, after a period of time and refresh them and relook at your titles. And one of the other members mentioned about capitalizing all your titles. Now that's a good little tip, because they recommend that gives more exposure.
Okay.
And the other thing I was going to mention, which is about copying and pasting stuff into Notepad, because when you're copying and pasting stuff from one website to another, you can actually bring in some coding from the other website, which is called HTML.
Yeah.
So if you copy it into Notepad, it removes all the HTML and it gives you nice clean text, which helps as well.
Yeah. So let me just describe that a bit more. Once you copy that text from, let's say it's from eBay, and you've taken the text from there, from Amazon, or if you've got another supplier that you're getting your stuff from, once you copy that text out of there, you need to open up a program on your computer, and it's either Notepad or what's it called on a Mac? I don't even know. But a similar program where it's just a plain text format, and all you have to do is drop it in there, and then copy it all, select it all, copy it, and then paste it into your listing, and all that HTML in the background, all the signatures, everything is then taken away from it. So it's really easy to do, and I know that a lot of people overcomplicate that, and they're like, well, where do I download this Notepad from? It's part of Windows, is Notepad. So you just go to your Start button, go to All Programs, I think it's in your Accessories folder, and it's in there, Notepad. Or on the more up-to-date Windows 7, you just type in Notepad and it'll come up as one of the icons there. So it's as simple as that to do that.
And I would recommend mixing up some of your descriptions as well. That helps.
Yeah. What do you mean mixing them up though?
Not have them as the same, like maybe change the descriptions a little bit. I find that helps. Sometimes when you copy and paste it across from Amazon, you'll find that the information is doubled up. So it's worth reading through the text and stuff to make sure that you're not repeating yourself. So when someone's looking at it on they're not constantly seeing the same thing or slightly reworded, but
Yeah.
And I find take your time on the research. I know it's all about a listing thing, list. At the same time, do take a little bit of time, because sometimes that does help, I find.
I'm just seeing the comments. Sorry, I'm a little bit distracted. There's comments flying in on the feed there. So if you're watching this, I know that there's a lot more people watching than are commenting. Leave us a comment, and then we can interact with you. We want to address questions that you've got. So if you've got questions, if you've got answers to things that you've seen in the group, then we'd love to have you on our panel, because this is Team UK, and we want to highlight you guys in Team UK, have you on the panel here, and share your successes, because part of having an abundant mindset is giving knowledge away, giving help out to a lot of people. So by being on this panel, people watch this video over and over as it goes along. And I was looking at some of the stats of our previous Hangouts, and there's like 150 views on it. So it's not just now, it's in the future your knowledge is then passed on to a lot more people. So we want to really highlight your success. We know there's a lot of people in the group that are silently, they're in stealth mode. They're just listing away until they got bloodshot eyes at night time because they want to get that one more listing up. So if you're having that success, or we want to showcase it basically. So get in touch with any of us on here, and let's fill in the other 7 spots on the Hangout. Okay, so that'll be good.
I noticed there's a little thing about the. I just see that any tips, any good tips for using the spider method. That's. Spider method is quite good actually, and it's worth taking a look at the sold items as well, and having a look at what they've sold, just to get a feel for what's selling and how many they've sold as well. Just get a bit of paper and just have a rough note, and how often they're selling it, because then that can give you an idea of like how quick that product's moving.
So the spider method that they're referring to, for people that don't even know what the spider method is, just explain that briefly. Then what is it?
Well, basically, you start off with an item, and you find someone who's selling products from either Amazon, and you start going through their listings and picking out products. I tend to, when I do that method, which is all within the pro training, I tend to take a little bit longer in doing that now, because I research the items a little bit more. Yeah. Because it does help. I find that if you do spend that little bit extra time researching the item, then you can get slightly better results.
Yeah. Okay.
And the good thing with that method is that you never get stuck. You never. You'll never not find something, because as soon as you run out of, let's say you run out of products on that list, then you just pick up another random and start researching that one, and you find someone else who's obviously listing it for the right amount, and they're going to be making profits, and you see it sells, and you just keep going on and on and on and on. And sometimes you're doing it for so long. I've got a little notepad which I've got all different buyers that I've actually copied and pasted just as a starting reference, just to speed up things sometimes.
Yeah. So it's just a way to, I suppose, break what you would normally type into a search engine. You'd be typing in things that you relate to, and this is a way to get you into something that you would have never thought of. That's all it is, isn't it? It's just a trail.
Yeah. There is for those who are just starting and then they don't know what word to start with. There is a website that you can use that just gives you random. And Roger does go through it in one of his pro live trainings.
Yeah.
Just trying to find the name. It's called Random Object Generator. So you type that in, and how I'd normally do it is put the how many months there are, and then I'd click it a couple of times and then search down the list. So there's, let's say this month there's 31 days in a month, so I type 31 in there, then I'd go down to 28 because today is the 28th, and then I'd just start with that word, and that's what I'd start with within Amazon and try and find products that way. It's a good way to get you started if you get a little bit stuck with where to start off with.
Mhm. Oh, that's good. Good tip. So we've got Sanna Hellstrom. She would like. I'd love to learn more about titles. I'm at a dead end at the moment. How do I get better at it? What?
I think if you stick to what I said regarding the three things that was mentioned in a podcast that was done with Eric, which is what is it, how you use it, what is it for, where do you use it, and if you think about that every time you write a title, you can just keep growing on it. And I go back to titles now, and I've adjusted some, and I've now got more hits on them. No, I'm not perfect at it. It's one of those things. I think it's one of those things that you pick up over time. I could get a bit more technical about it, but I shan't, because some people, if you don't know much about SEO and that sort of stuff, then it's not, but you don't need to know all that anyway. It just helps, I think.
Well, I guess with I know you don't want to get too technical with it, but SEO is search engine optimization. It's whenever you type into Google, you're typing in a keyword. You're typing in motorhomes. It's a keyword, and it brings up things about motorhomes. So when you are typing into eBay, you're also typing in keywords. So you want to think about the keywords when you put in your listing up. What things relate to them things. And I know that on eBay, you can basically put keyword after keyword after keyword in your title, because they're not very fussy on titles. So if you just have all these keywords, and you're not allowed to put in, Black & Decker, not, who's another one? I was going to say Braun, but that's a shaver, isn't it? And a Black & Decker shaver would hurt. But you're not allowed to put a not so-and-so, like a big major brand in there. So you've got to keep it relevant, but you can put keyword after keyword. And you see that from people that are the top of the search engines on eBay and making a lot of sales. That's what they're doing. So there's a tip for you.
The other thing is when you're doing the research on that product, is look at other people's titles as well, because sometimes you can grab, like other eBay sellers, you can actually grab words off of them if you go down their list. I've done that before, and that's helped. And actually think about what someone will actually type in to when they're searching for a product, what sort of things they're going to type in. So think yourself, when you've gone to buy something on eBay, what you've typed in for that product, or what you would type in to search for that product. And I find that helps, because at the end of the day, that's who you're gearing yourself up for, is the Joe public who's looking for the item.
Yeah.
Could I butt in a second?
Yeah.
Just really on Sana's behalf, I think, although this is obviously recorded and people do have the option to go back and replay any bits that they missed or not understood, could you just repeat? She says, could you repeat it again? I mean, it would help for repeating in the recording. Stephen, you're wanting to say something there, I can tell.
I was just going to say, could you type it in to Sana's comment on the feed as well?
Yeah, that would help actually. Yeah, the 4 points that you were just talking about, Gavin, that you learned from Eric. Is that possible?
Yeah. Give me a minute,
and
I'll type that in for you.
Cool.
Was that on the titles? Is that for the titles? Yeah.
Yeah, just for the information.
Just them 4 points that you said.
Yeah. Sorry, I hope nobody got deafened by a cha-ching sound just then. That's quite amusing. I used to mute myself.
Nice to have you with us, Rachel Hall, Sana, and I am so sorry, but I can't say that name. I bet Rick can say that.
Zbigniew.
What is it?
Zbigniew. That's me being brave, because I have a Polish girlfriend.
That's why I gave you that one.
Okay, I don't think I'm going to get a bollocking from him. That is apparently how you pronounce it.
Okay. We'll leave it at that then. And James, nice to have you with us, mate. So James gave a tip there. I use Word to create a layout and paste across from Amazon as plain text. So copies it out of Amazon, then pastes it into eBay, and then set styles. This way all listings follow the same uniform and look consistent and professional. So another way of doing it there. And Stu Evans, he's a bit busy listing. Just had another increase on his limit. So currently listing and listening to you guys at the same time. There we go. So Stu, that's brilliant. You've got a pay rise like Gavin says. Pay increase.
It's nice. It's a nice feeling.
And I might as well bring up the point of it does seem that the better way to grow this business is not to rush the increases, is to allow it to grow naturally. You can request an increase within the system, within eBay, virtually, kind of on the screen, but it's just not recommended you call them directly, just in case. You know, some people kind of don't know what to say, and then if you sound nervous, then they're going to think something's up and stuff. So it's better just to allow the limiting increases to grow naturally as your business grows.
Were they saying that it was different? I remember the thread a few days ago, wasn't it? Were they saying it was different in the US if you were actually in the US, or was that just on the .com site?
It does seem that the drop shipping, the term, especially the term drop shipping, it's in the terms and conditions and the policies as being perfectly okay, and it's visible to see there on the .com site, but it is not duplicated on the .co.uk site, and that would therefore sort of mesh with what people have been experiencing, and that when you speak to a UK person directly about drop shipping, they frown upon it. They don't really like the little guys doing it. It's nothing wrong with it, but they just feel that, I don't know, that they want to protect the buyer, and they don't feel that somebody drop shipping is you know, that they let the big boys do it, but for us it's not. So it's better just to sort of stay distant and just build your business gradually, become experienced, learn from any little mistakes, and just do it that way.
And once you've got that good feedback anyway and that good score, they're going to be more lenient towards the hikes in price anyway, aren't they?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So a good customer service is going to get you good feedback, and eBay are going to reward you then by doing that.
Yeah. I mean, I read some comments on a YouTube, very old YouTube clip about some other terms and conditions that eBay had come in with I think it was 5 years ago. And I was just going through them. I didn't actually realise they were so old. I thought it was talking about the recent terms and conditions or recent things that have changed. And I was going through some of the comments, and just some of I was staggered, without wanting to sound too arrogant or patronising. I was just looking at them thinking, these are real business people, supposedly, trying to sell on eBay, and yet they're basically effing and blinding about eBay, the fact that it's harder to sell stuff now, and all this and all that. It's not. It's protecting the buyer, and I think the more that's done to protect the buyer, the better platform it is for everybody. Yeah. So you just got to do what they say and tick the boxes.
Tony has left a question, and I don't know how to answer that. Is there a software which can help with the software?
That's got to be a typo. That's a challenge.
You may need to rephrase that into a question that we can answer.
Okay, titles. He's put titles on it. So is there a software that helps with the titles?
Where does it say that?
I mean, it's probably refreshed slightly quicker than my side.
You're
running all the recording and stuff, so I don't know.
Roger does mention about a bit of software that some people use, which is called TerraPeak, and there is an option within that to help you with titles, but that is a monthly subscription thing. It's I had it for just over a month, and I've just recently sort of stopped subscribing to that because DS Domination's got some new stuff coming out, so which is meant to be a little bit better than TerraPeak and more geared up to what we're doing, you know. And the actual title builder within Pro is really good. I've used that for just getting a few keywords, and I find that helps. Just pop in there and use it. It's perfect fine. I know sometimes it can take a little bit of time, but just be patient with it. It is good.
So whereabouts can they find that then? So they've got the Pro, and whereabouts is the tools bit?
if you go into Pro, and it will be on under module 16 and 19, and it'll be on the last one. This is how I find it anyway. And it's, and as promised, here is the title builder for you to help you build better titles. So it'd be within the Pro training under modules 16 to 19, and it'd be under the last module 19. You'll see it there, you can't miss it, it's in blue writing.
But you know that this is going to be outdated because after the event next week, it's probably going to be changed. But anyway, that's what it is currently.
Yeah, so just...
So have a look there.
Yep.
Tony, I have...
I was going to...
Yeah, go on.
I was going to mention about if you go into eBay and look under your account, and then you look under seller dashboard, and that basically gives you a rough idea of what the standards are, what the new standards are going to be in April. And it gives you an idea of where you are at with your standards within selling on eBay. Just a little tip there that's worth taking a little look at and having a poke around.
So you can have a look at the terms and conditions in there and everything else, can't you? There's a big help centre in eBay itself, and there's a forum, so there's loads of information, but I guess people want to know the specifics straight away, and that's why, that's why we've got our Facebook group for you to ask questions in there, because then they're related to drop shipping, we know what you're talking about, and we can help you out that way, so that's very good.
Sana has made a very good, I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that one.
Go on, mate, you go with it.
How much attention should I pay to the number of views on my listing and the number of watchers? I know I've seen this come up several times. Go on, Rick, what would you say?
I would say, I will hold my hands up, you know me, I'm focused on the affiliate, my forte is the affiliate side. However, I've done enough of the training and seen enough of people responding to this kind of thing to say it is key. You need to, yes, don't sit there if it's got no watchers and no views in say 2 or 3 days. Don't sort of say, oh sod it, it's obviously not going to sell. But those that are getting watchers, are getting views, that means people are finding your items. It means they're interested in an item, and you can tell. You can start filtering things out as your business moves forward. You can say, right, that one got many more watchers or many more views than that one, and it basically helps you identify what is in demand and what people are looking for. There's a reason why they didn't, if they didn't end up buying it from you, there's a reason for that. So yeah, I would say it's not everything, but it is pretty key to identifying what's going to sell.
So what about, at what point do you kill a listing? Do you leave it on there for 3 months when you've had just watchers and nobody's bought it, or?
I'd say one 30-day thing is I don't know. I could be wrong here. I can't answer that honestly, buddy. But in my own judgment, what I would do is I would look after a 30-day period. So we do all listings for 30 days. If it's got nothing, there's something wrong. Either people are not searching for it, or you've done the titling wrong and it's not coming up in the searches for some reason.
Yeah.
That's what I would come to conclusion.
Yeah. Okay. We've got Chris Gordon on here and Nikki Lynch as well. Nice to have you with us.
Go on, Gavin. Sorry.
I was going to mention. Yeah, I was going to mention. I think it's a post in Make Money Online with Us, and on there, I think there's one called Duds. I think called that Eric done, which is. Let's see if I can find. Basically, he sort of explains there was a whole post done with like people's views and opinions, and Eric put his across that every sort of 15 days, when how often do you switch it up? I tend to, if it's 30 days, like Rick said there, I've started to do it more recent now, change my titles. So if something hasn't done sort of in 15 days, hitting the sort of things, the sort of hits and views that I want, then I'll change the title, leave it for another 15 days and see if that increases. If not, then it may be an area that's not worth that I'm not tapping into that way. I'm just finding another product to move on. You can delist it and hang it back there, and you list, in your unsold items, and just leave it there and come back to it at a later date, because you don't have to delete and get rid of it. You can save it there. I've got a few items that I actually leave in the unsold section for a later date, just in case. Sometimes seasonal things change, and it just saves you for researching and having to repost it at a later date.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good, helpful little area, that is.
Nikki's got a moment.
Go on, Nick. Nikki, do Nikki's question then.
Nikki, yeah, basically she has said it, although in the training it does suggest that model numbers are not that important and you shouldn't really waste keyword space with model numbers. She's asking that, well, she's saying that she's had quite a few people come back to her with her listings to say, they want model numbers and they need this information, and that it will increase the visibility. I think that's what she said, coming up stating that if I add model numbers and brand of products, etc., it will increase my visibility in best match search. I do myself, when I do list stuff, if it's a particularly hot item that's got a relatively easy model number to remember, that people are likely to go, oh, I know that one, that's the blah blah blah, then I put it in, because that's almost how people may refer to it. If it's an in-depth model number, like really long-winded, then you will obviously, if you put it in, you'll get people who know exactly the model they want. I don't know, what's your views on this, guys?
I've got a couple of items. One of them I don't actually, the model number's in the description, not in the title.
Okay.
Because I just felt that would be wasting keyword space for it, because it was quite a sort of niche area, and I know by adding the extra, having that space to give me the advantage than actually putting the model number in, because I still get the same amount of hits and it sells on a regular basis anyway. I think model numbers are more if you're doing parts. I think it's more important if you've got a part to, a device, or a lawnmower or something like that, or or I don't know, anything where, let's pick a lawnmower for instance, that's the first thing that comes to my head. So you need a part number for, let's say, a blade or a motor or something on that, then yeah, fair enough. I think then, but on some items you can get away with it.
I'm glad that you said niche then and not niche, because we are a UK hangout, so I was just watching your language there. You tend to offend people in the UK when it's a niche.
So I said it right then, did I?
You did. So if you've got any more tips, because that was really helpful to have, your side of things. There's a lot of people on here that are new, they haven't listed stuff. So if you've got any more tips for people, please share them in the comments down below, and then we can then put them on the video like this and talk through if we've got any extra pointers for you. So that's really helpful to have them in there. Ian Orford, listings tend to mature. I've had listings live for 3 months with views and watches, and then it will all of a sudden start selling. So I don't think there's a definitive, is there? It's a search engine. eBay is a big search engine, and how it works is probably a mystery to a lot of people.
And I would just take this opportunity to say hello to Ian. I didn't think he's not able to join us because of sort of connection speed and stuff on the Hangout, but I'm glad he's watching and chipping in advice. So thank you, Ian.
And the other thing, because there's so many variables to this, it could be that other people are getting from a different supplier than what you are. So let's say all of a sudden their supplier goes out, but you're the one in the know from a different supplier, and that's why your product could just start selling, because you found that other supplier who may have got sole rights to it. I had a product that was selling like hotcakes, and it went quiet. I couldn't find it in the internet, and it's only just come back. But you know, it's a tricky one. It's worth thinking about that, you know. But
it's worth testing for yourself, really, isn't it? Yeah. See
it's
what
trial and error at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Nikki just wants to clarify that on that she was saying that the eBay is saying if you add additional details to your listing, you'll get more hits.
Okay, Nikki, that was my misunderstanding there. Okay, so yeah, that's eBay telling her, slapping her on the wrist and saying, "Oi, put more information in."
Well, it kind of gives you, I can't remember what they call it now, listing, enhance your listing or something like that. And it just gives you pointers to make it a bit better, and it'll stand out. So that's what she's referring to.
The what?
Go on, Gary.
There was a mentioning in the official, because I watched a video of eBay. Every sort of couple of months they bring out a video about how they're progressing with eBay and new things. I think Rick put the link up in the UK's site, and I watched one of the videos, and it was basically saying about the descriptions, and they actually had a customer sort of explaining what they like to see in descriptions, and basically the more information you can put in there, the better. You know, about sizes, dimensions of things, and all that sort of thing, really. Because it can make you stand out from another seller who hasn't got that information, and they go, "Oh, hang on a minute, he knows what he's on about, or they know what they're on about. I'll go with this person." You know, and it gives you that bit of leverage, really.
Yeah. My screen's just gone white. Oh, there it is. So Melanie says thanks for answering about the model numbers. That was it. I was just looking what she was saying thank you for. What's the average percentage of total sales of listed items? What's your average percentage of total sales of listed items?
I think that can vary massively depending on how far you are. If you're at the start and you're particularly good at listing, finding items and listing, you know, doing the titles and stuff.
I think get as many up there as you can, and then you'll make some sales.
Try and hit your limits. That's what I've been told over and over again. Is try and aim to hit your limits every month.
Yeah.
And the moment eBay see that you're selling stuff, and you want to list more but you can't because the limits are stopping you, they will naturally raise your limits. That's what I've been told.
And I found one account that I haven't even phoned them up and asked for a raise. Nearly every fortnight they've been giving me a raise lately, so can't grumble with that. But my other account, I haven't. They're not big raises. It's only a couple of grand each time, but it's, you know, I'm happy enough.
That's enough for another few items, isn't it? Another 10 items or so.
Yeah. But whereas my other one, I haven't had a raise on that yet. I don't think I'm doing enough volume of sales for them to raise it, sort of thing. Plus, I phoned them up before, and there's a bit of confusion with something.
So they've starred your number now. They know who you are.
I'm not worried. You know, it doesn't bother me. It will come naturally.
I've just got Rick smiling on the little thumbnail down the bottom.
You got me smiling?
Yeah, you're kind of frozen smiling on the thing.
That's a freaky thing to have me freeze doing. I smile a lot of the time, but if it's a freaky thing,
in the program, in the pro training, Roger says not to bother with specifics. It helps eBay, not you. That was from Chris Gordon.
Yeah, When I was talking about extra information, I was actually on about within the description, not the bit that you're on about. I understand where you're going with that. I tend to sort of leave that alone. Sometimes I might put a little something in there, but to be honest, I tend to leave it alone.
If it's easily available, then I guess bang it in if you've got the information. If you haven't, don't bother about trying to research it and get the stuff in there.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, I definitely go with that.
Yeah. So, what have you found with your experience of DS domination? This is for the watchers that we've got. What's been the best little tip that's made you most money that you can share with people that watch this and look at the comments here? Something that maybe was frustrating you initially, and you got over that one little hurdle, and then you started to make money, or you started to actually get it, things had to fall into place. What was a little bit of information that you needed to get you over that little hurdle? If you can answer that in the question section down below this video, that would be really helpful for people. And if you're watching the recording, again, just put down a little tip there, because this is what we're all about. If we can help out, then we'll do our best to do that. So I got more. Thanks, guys. It's mainly model numbers and brand names that they're asking me to add, so I do so. You're very, very good, Nikki. Do as you're told. Tell me about the point of having several accounts. So you can have up to 8 eBay accounts, and what's the point in having like several eBay accounts?
Can I say niche? No, I won't. Niche.
No.
It's Gavin. You probably answer this better, but it's to do with niches, right? It's better to have specific accounts if you're growing a specific niche.
Yeah, but can I just state, right? Because I know I talk a lot about that. I've got 2 accounts. Now, they both got separate PayPals. They're both for different people. Okay, I'm stating this now. This is not, you know. Roger does mention in the training that you can on one PayPal have several accounts, and you can only list in certain categories, which means then you can do a niche or different niches, and that's it. Whereas I've got 2 accounts. One's myself and one's my girlfriend's. Because she doesn't use her account, I use it because I'm maximising, you know, what I've got.
Yeah.
So, but what I do is my account's for US sales and her account is for UK sales. And I originally was just using my account, and I had 50-50 listings. But now I've split them between the accounts. So mine's for US and hers is for the UK. This is solely for split testing and for my own personal how I like to do things. Yeah, you know, to be honest, you don't really need to start opening other accounts and doing all that palaver. One account is enough, because when you start doing 2 accounts, there's a lot of items to keep track of, and when you use in different places and different resources. See, I'm quite lucky because I'm at home all day and I've got the time to do it. But for someone who's just starting this out and that, I wouldn't even, you know, advise it. I'd just say stick to your account, stick to one area, get laser focused, get skilled in that one set area, and then over time, when you're confident and you want to branch out, and then do it. But don't worry about it. Just concentrate on the one account, master it, and then move on.
That's a very good point. Do you think that a lot of people get overwhelmed by the information? They want to set up 10 accounts, they want to set up 15 PayPal accounts just in case. They want to get started in the UK and the US, and then they want to start selling on Amazon, eBay, and then drop shipping from 10 different suppliers, and then they wonder why they get frustrated and confused and not know what to do.
How I've done it is I've slowly progressed from my suppliers. Like now I'm moving away from Amazon, and because I've got the Elite, it shows you how to find more stuff and go about things slightly different. Now, you know, I'm just doing it at my own pace. People in here smashing it out all day long. Fair enough. You know, that's them. But I'm doing things at my own pace. I'm going at what I feel comfortable with. Just because that someone else is making massive amounts, don't feel pressurized that you have to do it. Just go at your pace. What feels right with you. What you're comfortable with. But at the same time, you know, dip your toe in the water and take that little bit extra, you know, do something that you wouldn't normally do, because I've learned from my mistakes. You know, I'm still making little mistakes here and there now, and I don't claim to know it all, and that's why I love the Facebook groups, because you can ask questions, you can get involved, you can, you know, and you can see all the other little things that other people, maybe little issues or something that you didn't think about that they've come across, and you go, oh, hang on a minute, now I know how to solve that problem if I come across it. And I've got a little swipe me file. I just take screenshots of what people have said, comments and stuff, and I've got a little folder that I refer back to now and then. So if I think, oh God, so I remember someone coming to this, so I don't have to keep going back through Facebook trying to remember what the post is under. I just take a screenshot, save it in a folder, and then I can go back to it later on under something that I've named it that I will remember, you know.
Fair play, mate. That's a very good system. I like that.
Definitely.
James Aubrey's just put one of probably, I don't want to take anything away from what anyone else has said this evening, but probably the best bit of advice I've seen on the chat so far. Best to keep under the radar of eBay UK, keep your account in good standing, have great customer service and good communications. That's what they want. I've always seen that people always try and push for success either out of desperation or motivation, and if you're desperate to earn an income, you will possibly set yourself up to make stupid mistakes. And if you're all kind of going, oh, I want to do that and do that and do that and do too much, and yeah, you're going to flag yourself up, and eBay are going to go, hang on a second, what are you trying to do? You're not being professional about this at all. And so it's just take it easy, be professional, grow steadily, and your business will grow.
Yeah, and Terry's put a comment in there. I always believed that my eBay feedback rating was of prime importance. Since joining DS, I found that hardly any of my buyers have left feedback. Is this a trend with DS? I would say that I noticed that there's a lot of people that they buy something, they know that it's being shipped to you, and then that's it, they leave. And in my personal experience is that not everybody leaves feedback, and if you're doing more volume now, maybe you're just getting through bigger numbers and you're seeing, you know, a lot more people. I wouldn't say it's specific to anything to do with DS. It's just the type of customers that are buying your products, maybe. I don't know. Any views on that?
I'd just like to, yeah, I have a couple of products that generally do give me more feedback than others, only because I think it's the type of people that are buying it. And it's one of those things, I wouldn't get too cut up about it, to be honest. I wouldn't worry about it too much. It would just come naturally. And sometimes I get more feedback than others. And I think it's one of those things that you shouldn't worry too much about. It's, you know,
just focus on the listing.
Yeah, definitely listing. Definitely.
Yeah.
Because you can't sell it if you haven't listed it.
Yeah, but you thought about it.
Gavin, I might ask you, buddy, what's your view on requesting feedback? Not demanding it, requesting it politely.
Right. So, I do like a little process. I know eBay sends out a little note at the start, sort of saying that they purchased the order and so on and so forth. I was sending out a little note when I processed the order, but then just recently I've stopped doing that, and I'm still getting feedback. So, but it's one of those things. There's another one. Like after 30 days, eBay sends the customer, "Oh, can you leave a feedback for this product?" Now I know some people say 15 days after the sale or a couple of weeks, they would send out their own personal message. Some people have said it helps. I've started trying that method instead of sending a note out when I process the order. But at the same time, you've got to think: does the customer want to be constantly bombarded with mess? You know, when you buy stuff online, do you want to be constantly bombarded with a message? You know, a lot of the time you just want to buy it and get it on and know that it's going to be delivered. Really.
I think it does depend who the person is. Well, it obviously depends who the person is. I know I give feedback no matter what. I always do, because I know how important it is. However, somebody who doesn't buy on eBay on a regular basis may not appreciate the value of feedback.
Well, yeah. Sorry, go on.
If it's your customer, and I've had a couple of orders with they've got 0 feedback. Now, I will actually send a note out to them saying, if you thank you for buying from my store, blah blah blah. If you like the product, you know, I send a little note saying I'll leave me feedback and I'll leave you feedback as well. But I tend to not leave feedback unless they've left me feedback. That's just a personal thing. I think the only time I leave them feedback is if they're really new. And I think, well, maybe, you know, they need to know that little nudge in it to know how the system works.
You come from an educational point of view. Fair enough.
Well, I've done that. I've sent out these messages, and really I get the odd one, and I got one today, and it said, you know, we strive for 100% feedback, and customer service is really important to us, etc., etc. And then this guy came back and said, "I appreciate you," and that was it. It was a message he sent me back. I thought, just leave me some feedback. He was from Norway or something, so he obviously didn't understand that big bit of text I sent him. I appreciate you. Okay.
Now, Norm's put a good comment in here. He's put, I'm guessing this is what he puts to his customers. I hope you were happy with my service and your item was to your satisfaction. Please, can you leave feedback? That's quite short and sweet and to the point. I suppose if you do take the opportunity, or you do want to send a message out, that's about as, you know, laid back. And, you know, in the end, you are a seller. You are making money from the purchase of an item, so they would expect you to have some kind of follow-up, I would think. I don't know. I think that's good.
It's because I don't process my orders straight after someone's bought the item. Now, I think when I send a message, there's enough time for it not to become annoying. You know, if you're going to process your order straight away as soon as you get it, which is not really a good thing to do anyway, because sometimes you have people cancel on you. I had an item, you know, that they wanted to cancel, so I tend to leave it. Let's say I have an order come through today, I won't process that until tomorrow morning. You know, you've got to get into a rhythm of things, and I put stuff in the notes as well. So if I've ordered the item and I put in eBay, you've got the option to add a little note to what you've done, and I've just got stuff that I copy and paste in there just to keep record of, you know, whether I've placed the order or sent the message or so on and so forth. Because, you know, those little things which I find come handy.
Another thing is that people either they say they get more feedback when they leave the customer feedback first. Other people hang on to their feedback until they get the customer's feedback. Is there a definitive answer yet?
I don't know if there is or not. I haven't come across one yet. I think it's one of those things that you can play around with and find out what works best for you, you know, and how you do your process and how you do things. Because we've all got our own little way of doing things.
Just whatever makes you happy.
I think Chris came up with a good question here. If we could jump to that. Just saying, I'm making good sales on the few items I've listed, although I want to list more, but I'm limited due to PayPal jail and restraints on cash flow. Have you guys got any ideas on that?
On cash flow, sell some more stuff around the house that you've actually got to build up your funds. PayPal jail, I know that is it 90 days in the UK as well?
Varies, but it tends to be 90 days. I know you can increase this, just keep it to 21 days if you do tracking information. Is that right, Gavin?
Yeah. Basically, if you get tracking, with tracking, what it is let's say it's 3 working days to process the order. Now, make sure you're putting your tracking within that time, within your I can't remember what they call it now.
The time frame of delivery.
Let's say this handling time. That's the one.
Okay.
As long as you put your tracking within your handling time. So if you've got 3 days, and let's say day 1 you process it, and maybe the second day you get your tracking, put it in then, because as long as you put your tracking within the handling time, it goes more in your favour, because that's what eBay like to see. So it's best not to have your handling time too short, because some items, I've got a few items that take a little bit longer for the tracking to come than others. So I just amend it to whatever that product is. But that's one of those things, as you start selling it, you'll know how quick you get the tracking back on that item. And not all items you will get tracking on, but do your best. If you've got items that you do have that, then definitely put it into eBay.
And Sana, you said there, is it better to stick to one supplier for a while and then focus on a new one rather than jumping between several suppliers? And I would say definitely try and once you get a good supplier, or once you look at a supplier that's recommended in the group, and if you're at the elite level or the unleashed level in them groups, there's other suppliers that people will recommend or say don't touch them with a barge pole. Once you find one that's right for you, you want to try and build up a relationship with these suppliers. You want to build up, you know the company inside out, so you know they ship within 1 day. They always put the label in unless you phone them. You'll know the little tips and tricks for that supplier. So I would say get a good supplier that's recommended by other people, and then stick to it until you want to move on. Really, what are your thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah, I'd say stick with a supplier, get comfortable with it to start off with, even if you're on pro level. But then as you move up to elite, then start dipping your toes. Just do a couple of listings of the other site just to get a feel for it. So when that order comes through and you process it, you're going a bit out of your comfort zone. Because when you're a pro, you get taught Amazon, and I still use Amazon now for some things, but I'm slowly moving towards some of the other suppliers, just because I found some products that work for me. But what I've done is just slowly integrating across, because you want to get a feel to how they run, how they work, how they process their orders, how things, because sometimes you can, like I had one item and I kept having problems with it, and it was like, and this was on Amazon. I was thinking, what's going on here? But now I've changed the actual dispatch time, like the delivery time, perfectly fine. I don't have any issues with it, because before I was doing the 3 to 5 days or whatever it was, and that wasn't enough, because sometimes it was going beyond that, so I had to extend it for like a shorter period and give me a longer period, because sometimes it would dispatch within a day, and then sometimes it would be 8 days or 9 days down the road, and that's when I was getting a problem. I was thinking, what's going on? I've done this thing for what I've been told, but because they use a different courier, different shipping service, you've got to counter those factors in there. So just bear that in mind. And that's one thing I would say, pay attention to. If you're looking at your new suppliers and you go into another place, check out what the delivery and dispatch times are, and take note of the handling and their process of it, because that can that can get you a bit stuck sometimes if you're not careful.
Yeah. Rick, you've just answered the question there. What was that about 10 minutes ago, and it's only just come up on my screen.
Yeah, as Zbigniew was just saying, what do you think's better, listing a lot of cheap items or less but a higher price? And I've just replied. I said I think it does totally depend whether you're at pro level or elite. When you join this DS Domination, you need to understand the fundamentals and the basics at pro level. The main focus behind pro is to make sure that at the bare minimum you are making your £12 or $19.95 per month back ASAP, listing lots of little items and getting multiple amounts of small profits. That is what it's all about. Once you understand the concept and you've got more confidence in how everything works, then you can upgrade to elite, whether that is through profits you've earned or out of your own pocket. That's your call. Once you upgrade to elite, then the training is focused around identifying, sort of digging down deeper to identify items that have a bigger profit margin and taking a little bit longer to list them to make sure you do everything properly. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think so. So the pro level is $2 or $3 in profit, and then the elite is like $20, $30 in profit. That's what you're aiming for. As you go up to the unleashed, you find when you go up to the unleashed, you've got more suppliers that you get the item at a discount, and you get cash back on your item as well. So all in all, you're making a huge saving on the item when you supply it. So that's where the benefit is of upgrading in the DS Domination products. So if you've got any more questions, get them in down below, because we're going to finish up in just a few minutes now. But it's been great to have you with us, and great to have the comments flying down there, because we can only come up with so much content. You guys are in the field. You can help a lot of people by giving them your words of wisdom, so we really appreciate you joining in with us. I've got a screen open here that refreshes every like 10 minutes or so, so I don't think I'm that far behind. So who else have we got down here?
Could I just answer Norman's question?
Yeah, I can't even see that.
Basically, regarding to tracking in the UK, I use a thing called Camel, and that only works for Amazon. And it does work for US listings as well, but I found that quite handy. And
I will, if I could just again add something into that. There's a few others, and I know Camel it becomes highly recommended by quite a few people. If Ian is still watching, then if he would like to reveal what he uses, he was just telling me this afternoon. I'm not being secretive or anything like that, but it's somewhat exclusive. And if he wants to share what he uses, we've been told that it's very useful in both the US and the UK. So I'll happily tell Norm directly afterwards, anyway. But yeah.
Or if he wants to share it in the comments.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah.
If I find an item that is not on eBay, can I still list?
So it's exclusive to you, as in Santa would be the only person listing that item?
Well, I would say that's a good thing, isn't it?
It is, but then you've got no history of whether it's going to sell.
And as long as you check them restricted items, it's not on one of them lists.
Yeah. If you've got sort of competitive items that are very, very similar, and you can get the keywording and titling right, so that you're not falsely advertising it as something else that is selling, as though it's like a cheaper alternative or something like that, I see no reason why you can't. But I like to see proof of things that sell, and they are exactly the same product. So again, it's kind of up to her, I guess. It's personal choice, but.
We got some love coming in from Chris there. Great to have your spin on things. Sana, thanks. And then I'd only muck it up if I said your name.
Zbigniew.
Zbigniew.
The W is a V. That's what I've learned.
W is a V.
Zbigniew. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's interesting, Rick. So I think that's all I can see there. Have you got any more comments that I can't see?
No.
If you can't find an item on eBay, whether you list it or not, I think Rick's just mentioned that.
Sorry, that was the question that we just answered. That's cool.
Yeah. It's entirely up to you, I think, that one.
Everybody happy?
Yeah, I can't see any additional things, guys. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I think it's fair to say we had a pretty active hangout, considering we thought we weren't going to get people because of various reasons. So,
yeah, holidays. Too many school holidays, I think. People away on these school holidays, treating the kids too much. So, yeah, thanks for joining us. And the more interaction we get on this and in the group, the better, the more people will learn. So, on that, I really appreciate you joining us. And Rick, Gavin, any final thoughts for people?
Just keep listing. If you're on pro level, just keep listing, because that's the only way you're going to get it. Just
list.
And another thing, for just a quick one for tracking your items, is create a wish list. I think you can have more in a wish list than you can in an actual in your basket for stuff. That's what I found anyway.
Cool.
And Rick?
Well, final words.
Yeah.
No, I'm just going to fade off into the background. I don't really have, apart from, everybody for coming on, and really good to see lots of interaction. So, great stuff.
And I don't know whether, I know we're saying that you're looking for $2 and $3 profits in the pro level training. I'll just give you some inspiration here. There's a lot of guys. I know that we're kind of restricted, possibly in the UK, with earning potential, but the guys in the US, just for inspiration for you for next week, this is what you could be doing. These guys have built it up over a few months, and he says, I love waking up to pending orders. I think we are going to hit $2,500 today. Looks like my new goal may have to be $3,500. So that's in a single day. And then the next comment down here is, or the next status update is, almost 20,000 in the last 3 days in sales. And that's just, potential. That's what can happen. It's a serious business. You start off with £12, $20, and that's what it can turn into if you take this consistent, focused action and go through the training and apply the training. These guys that are making this amount of money are doing it because they are doing it on Amazon. They're learning how to supply the source items very cheap and list them on Amazon, and they're making sale after sale after sale, and so $2,500 in a single day. It's pretty good going. So with that, I think we should close there, and we will see you all next week. The event is this weekend, am I right? Everybody's going to the event. Roger's there, and he's going to, I think this week he's been going to people's houses, the big leaders in DS Domination, and giving them some tips and tricks and little training. And then he's probably videoing that, and he'll probably be showing that at the event as well. So get your tickets if you want that footage, if you want the exclusivity of the items, and all the other good stuff. Keep in touch with DS Domination, because there's a lot coming out over this weekend. I'm sure Facebook will be full of it, and our group will be full of information as well that people find. If you find information in other groups that you're a part of and we're not, if it's useful to the whole community of DS Domination, present it to the people in our group, and I'm sure we can include what we see relevant as well. So there you go. Well, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.
Hey guys.